Hey folks, I'm Grimwit from Natchevil.com, and this is Natchian News. My current Let's Play is Shantae, the Kimon Revolution. More work put in the turbulent process of monetizing this channel. For whatever reason, YouTube complains that I'm a third party trying to change the details of my videos. Very strange. You'll be pleased to know that I have generously drawn one whole page of Natchevil this week. Yay! Most of the week, however, was dedicated to Queenie and I going to AutoCon 2013. So many pictures of silly people. The real joy of the one and only otaku convention is that no matter where you look, nothing is weird. Everything fits. Even this video of Crispin Freeman singing an aria.
It goes something like, Vecchia simara senti, io sto pianto, ascende del sacro monte devi, le mie grazie ricevi.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That dude is way into Eastern mythology. Good times. Today on Worlsend, we have our very own Natchian, Jet, doing voice work. Honestly, he sounds better than what I thought Aldeon Golgoth would sound like. Very good. Without further ado, here's Episode 2 of Worlsend Gate. Worlsend Gate, Episode 2, Child in Pelts, by Mike Rojas. Special guest voice, Jet Black 21, as Aldeon Golgoth. January 1921, Eagle Mass Street. At times of snowy sunlight, the very air of Worlsend could be seen settling through the window onto the ancient books inside the bookstore. The sign above read, with some difficulty, High-density books for the gifted, and nailed below that, Nothing for sale. If we were to open the front door, ignoring the keep out sign, we'd find this place walled with tomes of dusty gold. Some of the books would have legible bindings, the necrotic manuals, Travels of Al-Hazrad, the Mad Arab, 51 Blueberry Breakfasts. The pathway to the desk at the back would be littered with notes, scrolls, and towers of text, but behind the desk we would see our friend, John Davis, hunched over and reading with candles and beer bottles at his side. He would look up, groan, and go back to his readings, unconsciously scratching the back of his hand. This is how it was for Aldeon Golgoth, a dapper, if sad-looking gentleman with a pencil mustache and a top hat. His attire was quite normal for the upper class, except his collar was held in place not with tie or brooch, but with a pocket watch held tight with gold chain. Aldeon tapped his cane loudly and clearly. "This isn't a store, mister," replied John.
I'm not here for a book. I'm here for advice, and word in town is that you are the town's detective.
Aldeon got no response.
I am able to pay.
"What would I spend the money on?" John looked up angrily from his book. Aldeon despised his unkempt dress. "Anyway, what are you doing here? Go away." "I'm trying to read about the Pagospo tribe." Aldeon huffed.
I have a difficult guest that requires assistance. The mayor pointed me to you.
He looked around the mess.
Believe me, I do not wish to be here either.
The mayor. John Davis rolled his eyes at the thought of the mayor. What did he call himself now? Saint Peter? He was the crazy old man who wore a long gray beard and a straw hat while selling moonshine to passers-by. Worlsend had no real form of government, let alone a mayor. John shrugged it off. Then don't be here. Besides, I don't want money. I want to learn about the Pagospo tribe and their ritual sacrifice candy.
Yes, well, I was told that too, so I came prepared.
Aldeon pulled a small yellow manual from inside his jacket and waved it under John's nose. His eyes went wild when he noticed the title. No, is that?
A copy of The Plague of the King in Yellow? Why, yes, I believe it is.
Aldeon yawned. John jumped halfway over his desk. Gimme that! I've been dreaming of one of those. It wasn't a metaphor. Aldeon deftly stepped back and over a screaming book, then tucked the play into his jacket. John sighed. Fine. What do you want, Mr.
Aldion Goch.
John spoke as he righted himself. The rich kook that lives in Nocturna Manor? You're braver than you look. It wasn't long before John and Aldeon were riding in the back of a Ford T Tudor sedan down the bumpy Semper Road that led to Aldeon's estate. John squinted vainly to see the driver's face. Just then, John noticed Aldeon had been speaking the whole time.
She's not an urchin by any stretch of the imagination. Rather a wild child I find quite charismatic. So you see, I couldn't bear to be away from her. Her teeth are disturbingly white.
Uh-huh. John pretended to pay attention.
You'll see her, I'm sure. She wouldn't have a stitch of clothing on her, other than the white-gray pelts she wears, and the blasted hatchet she holds onto tightly. Oh, it would be inhospitable to be out with the girl in the snow. Though for some strange reason she disappears at midnight. Back to her shack somewhere in the woods, I gather.
So what's the problem? Aldeon shrugged.
Immediately, there isn't one. Just suspicion that she is one of the children. I have my own, of course, but she didn't come from me.
Aldeon unconsciously touched the pocket watch around his neck.
She doesn't look like anything I recognize, but
He straightened up.
every morning, rain, shine, or snow, I have a constitutional around the estate. Yesterday, before the rooster crowed, I happened upon her tracks leading out of the library window and into the woods. As soon as they hit the tree line, her bare footprint stopped, only continued by paw prints.
John giggled. Do I look like Clement's houseman to you? Aldeon stared back in extreme seriousness. No. It's too silly to think it.
Perhaps she has a mount?
Aldeon suggested. The gentleman braced himself with his cane as the car stopped at the garage on the hill.
What I don't understand is if she isn't my child, why is she here?
As the two men got out, they looked down at Nocturna Manor. The southern-style architecture felt old, with more like a Greek revival. No window on the ground floor was below 2 stories in height. The snow-capped roof looked more painted onto the icy blue of Mason Lake behind Nocturna than on the roofs themselves. The odd thing about Nocturna Manor wasn't its build, however. It's that the winter sun reflected off its shiny ashen walls. The entire exterior of the building was as black as obsidian at midnight. The entire exterior of the building was as black as obsidian at midnight. It's simple, said John, not wanting to look away. Everyone in Worlsend has children that threaten them, phantoms and living metaphors of our sins. But what happens to them after we die, Mr. Golgoth? He glanced at Aldeon for effect. And we will die.
What are we going to do, Mr. Davis?
Have you read, Houseman? John pointed at Aldeon's collar. We're going to need that. The two men kept warm in their own ways as they walked to Nocturna. Aldeon pulled his jacket closer, and John took a snort of the mayor's moonshine from the half-silver flask. Inside the manor was a grand white staircase in one of the best-kept foyers John had ever seen in Worlsend Gate, and also a little girl dressed in white and gray fur pelts. At first the girl jumped up with glee at the sight of Mr. Golgoth, but her bare feet slid to a stop at the sight of John. "Kind sir," the girl spoke, forcing a tone of politeness, while her toes dug tensely into the red rug. "Who is this?" John finished taking in the well-to-do atmosphere of the foyer and smiled at the girl. "Hey there, Squirt. I'm John Davis. Are you a werewolf?" If you like Worlsend Gate or Natchian News, hit like, share, subscribe, or what have you. There's also a link in the doodly-doo if you're kind enough to donate to the cause. Every dollar will bring me that much closer to paying tuition to my super high school level Hope's Peak Private Academy. Today's noun was John Davis. Leave a comment suggesting your favorite person, place, or thing from this episode of Worlsend Gate, and I will include it in the next episode. Also, comment if you'd like a conclusion to the story, or if I should just let it stand where it is. As a special side item, Jet Black has his own Theme Time channel called Jet Black's Theme Time. You'll find a link of that in the description as well. Have nothing but fun, YouTubes. Have nothing but fun.